Welcome along, my name is Ben, and in this video I'm going to show you how to draw and make a Cuphead puppet out of a single sheet of paper. Now, on this channel I design, create and show you how to make paper-based working replicas of beloved Muppets, puppets, characters and creatures. Now, they can be pretty complex to make, so in this series I'm keeping it simple and I'm going to show you how you can bring to life your favourite characters and creatures using a single sheet of paper. Now, the basis for creating all of the paper puppets in this series is my printable folding template kit, which you can grab for a small one-off payment from my online store and then use again and again and again to create your own collection of paper puppets. So let's get into it. This is how to draw and make a Cuphead puppet out of a single sheet of paper. We're using template 1 from a puppet building kit, but we're going to amend it slightly by extending the top of the head section out to the right by 14 centimetres. We add this little dipping curve centrally along the top line and then we cut it out, saving what remains for the body later on. Then we sketch in this little diagonal lined grid on the template, which will help you match the facial features to what I'm doing when you draw along at home. We start with his oval shaped nose in the bottom triangular quarter. Then his eyes are these big, slightly overlapping U-shapes which travel a little outside of our grid on either side. The pupils are tall, thin ovals which fit nicely in each of the side quarter triangular areas. And these mini triangles complete the eyes. We've got a big wide mouth to which we add little cheek creases at the ends. Then we add his cup handle on the left of the template. And then his straw above the eyes. A few of the template fold lines are going to be visible on the straw, as we won't be folding his head as per the template instructions. I specifically chose template 1 to minimise this issue because there's the least amount of lines visible. And to be fair, once coloured in, these lines aren't going to be too visible anyway. Final touches here, we've got his chin, then his mouth which echoes the chin line, and then we add the tongue. Next we ink in with biro and rub out the pencil marks underneath. Then we colour him in, red, black and grey. I'll share the exact colours in the description. And then back over the biro lines for more definition. Next we cut around the edge of the handle and around the edges of the straw. Then we fold the head, starting with a line above his eyes, followed by the rest of the horizontal lines. It's worth pre-folding every line on the bottom half of the template. These small folds at the side are really important to get right to stop the paper ripping when you come to fold the jaw into place. We'll fold at the top, then these side sections fold in, left side as you're looking at it first, and then the right side, which is where the creasing we did earlier comes into play to create a tight fold that won't rip. And you can see more details of how this folds in the tutorial video that comes with the template kit that I'm using. We'll come back to the head shortly, but we're moving on to the body for now. We use what's left of the right side of the sheet. We create a 10 by 12.5 centimetre grid bisected from the corners with diagonal lines. We'll start with a big circle for his body, covering most of the top quarter, and then these two similar sized smaller circles, one of which gets a matching circle on the other side, and those two are going to be the hands. Then we sketch 4 slightly overlapping similar size circles at the bottom, covering the full width, which effectively hover slightly above the bottom line of the grid and are eventually going to make up his boots. This body shape, as you'll no doubt know, pays homage to Mickey Mouse's body, which was the last video that I made before this one, so they're quite similar in terms of sketching out, though there are subtle copyright conscious differences. But the gloved hands and shorts that I'm doing here are probably the closest parts in similarity between the two. For these details, I like to think about breaking the shapes of his knuckles and his hands and even his arms down into mini curves rather than thinking about them as a whole. And remember, as you're drawing this at home, you can use the diagonal lines to locate where your own lines are going to be on the paper. And then we'll do the fingers here, and then we're going to add the little markings onto the white gloves as well. We finished the body section with this line delineating the top of his shorts. Then we're going to go back and finish marking out the lines that make up his legs. The last bit is to mark around the row of circles, connecting each side pair together to create the boots. Then we add the sole of the boot and repeat on the other side. Final touch is the neck. And then we're going to ink it in and rub out the pencil marks. So we're just left with the pen marks. Then colour it in with red, grey and mustard yellow and black. These diagonal cross score lines on the neck will allow the head to wobble side to side, as you'll see once we've cut it out. Then we glue the tab at the top of the neck onto the bottom flap of the head section. We're going to fold it back, glue the rest onto the back side and then fold it in and hold it there for about a minute to fully bond. Then once bonded, we just pinch here at the corners of the neck to help create the neck to jaw shape. Then we glue all around the back of the cup handle, but not on the area where the handle is itself. Slide the long section in between the layers of paper with this end sitting just beyond the handle, allowing the handle to be folded out, adding to the three-dimensionality of his head. There's just enough room to add a strip of paper as a handle for the body, allowing us to hold the body still so that we can bob the head around. We refold the jaw section, tease back these little diagonal folds for more finger hold purchase, and then we can also fold the inner layer over our fingers to help keep the fingers and the puppet attached to each other as we open and close the mouth. And that's a Cuphead puppet made from a single sheet of paper. And if you're so inclined, you could also go about making a bendy puppet in exactly the same way.